Hey guys, this is Ranky here, and this is another glorious episode of Discussion Time. And today for Discussion Time, Death Grips. Now I made a video about Death Grips breaking up, which was just me raging for 2 minutes, and I'm going to discuss Death Grips. Now, Death Grips consists of Zach Hill on drums, MC Rod or Stefan Burnett on vocals, and Flatlander on synths and keyboards and miscellaneous. Now, to actually try to define Death Grips, it's just like a band who tries to mix hardcore punk, spoken word, and avant-garde rap. Like, sure, it might not be the best definition to suit them because when you listen to Death Grips, if you're somebody who has never heard a Death Grips song and a long time music listener or a critic, you have to try to find out what Death Grips are supposed to be about. You're supposed to be about what their sound is, what their appeal to any general audience is. But the only way I can discuss Death Grips or just try to understand them, I just call them a group who just tries to have some sort of an artistic level with the lyrics. Like every song just paints a picture that you have to try to figure out over and over. Just the little things that can just spark into a 4chan and Reddit thing. And even Death Grips do have loyal fans. They have a dedicated fan base, so dedicated that there was a lot of fake Death Grips ARGs all throughout 4chan's mood board, and they even had their own subreddit. I'll post the subreddit link in the comment in the description below. Now, Death Grips is a good band. I mean, I like their music, and my introduction to them, oh, it all started when I was just watching The Needle Drop, and he reviewed Death Grips Ex-Military, and I decided to see what it sounds like. At first listen, when I heard Beware, I didn't know what it was. I just stayed away from it until 5 days later. I decided to give it another try. Then I started to like Death Grips, and when I found out that they made The Money Store and No Love Deep Web, I freaking love Ex-Military. It is one of their greatest albums. But No Love Deep Web was okay. And then out of the blue, somewhere in November of 2013 last year, they released Government Plates. I was hyped. I downloaded it immediately. And when I heard Government Plates, it just sounded like a little less vocals from MC Rod. It's just samples and repetition. It wasn't like No Love Deep Web because the Death Grips EP up to No Love Deep Web had more vocals. But Government Plates and Niggas on the Moon or The Powers That Be had less vocals for some reason. And I'm pretty sure Jenny Death, which is disc 2 of The Powers That Be, I mean. And then I found out that Death Grips broke up. I made a video that was 2 minutes and 52 seconds of me ranting and getting angry about it because it was just bullcrap. I mean, they were a good band saying something that I think, well, I can barely remember the letter, I'm sorry. But it wasn't that much as specific saying that they were at their best with Death Grips. And I don't even know what they're talking about saying that they were at their best with Death Grips. They've released the Death Grips EP, Ex-Military, The Money Store, No Love Deep Web, Government Plates, and The Powers That Be. So they made 6 albums, and I'm kind of sad to see them go like this. And I hope they come back. I hope they change their mind. Or I hope that they're kidding. But Death Grips have deceived their fans as well. Now, back in 2011 and 2012, they showed up for their concerts, but for some reason in 2013, they were just like, F the fans. We're just going to do whatever we want. We're just going to plan an entire tour, make everybody just like waste all their money on some stupid stuff or a stupid show we're not going to attend to. Yay, profit! That is not how you're supposed to treat your fans. If you can't make it to a just one or two or three tour dates, that's fine. Because it could just be somebody is sick, somebody's probably injured, or they'll have to cancel the tour. But they didn't show up for nothing. And they hardly showed up. I mean, then Zach Hill couldn't make it in person, so they had to contact him through Skype. Yes, that was in the Boiler Room thing. That was no, it was on SX. No, South by Southwest. That was the show where Anthony Fantano went to. Check out that video. It's not going to be a link, but whatever. But it just feels like that they ripped off their fans by doing all this stupid stuff for just some idiotic reason. And they're always a cryptic and primal band. And the cover of No Love D-Web is just like some sort of an embrace, if you will. So that's why the cover has Zach's penis on there. And it's just, it blows my mind that they just quit just like that. They're a good band. Like, I don't see why they would have to quit or anything. But really, I don't think that they were at their so-called best with Death Grips. They could have made like a couple more albums. I'm not trying to be greedy, and I know that writing songs and making music takes a lot of time and inspiration. But they kind of describe themselves as somewhat of an artistic band, but if they had a little bit more of a specific appeal or just trying to figure out what they're trying to actually be, then maybe they could have been so called that. Because there are some bands like the Residents who are a less well known group because they aren't that famous. Nobody knows their identities, not a name, not a contact, not a Facebook, nothing. We just know there's just four guys in eyeball suits that make weird artistic music and just have these beautiful live performances. That's it. But when Death Grips, everything is hype. MC Rod's just shouting at the top of his lungs. Zach is drumming as fast as he can. And Flatlander's just working on everything in the visuals. Because I wanted to see them perform Government Plates live. And the whole thing, because they always treated their fans like dirt with this. Because back in 2011 and 2012, I don't get it. How come 2011, 2012, they didn't start doing this stuff? But when it came around 2013, they kind of fell apart. And then it was that one show back in August of 2013 where they didn't even show up for a show. It had people just acting like a bunch of maniacs, just destroying this, destroying that. It was a big suicide note that was on the screen. And Zach's drum set was torn to bits. And the only thing that was played was a CD. So they started doing a scumbag move because I guess that they aren't that rich. I mean, all their albums are on record except for Government Plates because Government Plates isn't on record for some reason. It's just still on iTunes. And I don't even know if it's ever going to get a CD or a vinyl or a cassette release like Ex-Military, The Money Store, or No Love D-Web did. Those have physical copies except for Government Plates and possibly the Powers That Be, because the Powers That Be has to be on a fresh vinyl. We want a physical copy. We had enough of the digital stuff. Just saying. Just saying. And I do know that Death Grips do have some secrets about them. There are people who like to sneak in some of their personal lives because they are a secretive group. Like, they want to keep stuff to themselves, which is understandable. Every human being has a right to have some privacy. But with people on Moo or Reddit, they try to find any picture of MC Rod from getting baby pictures to college pictures. For God's sakes, if he's super private, he's super private. Why does everybody on the Mood thread want to know so much about them? That's dumb. I mean, if they want to keep something private to themselves, then let them be. Would you like it if somebody did that to you? I don't think so. I wouldn't like that neither. But still, and even though that Zach Hill has drummed in a lot of bands from Waves, Boredoms, Hella, every other band that he's ever been in, you can check through his discography. He hasn't been in a permanent band. The only permanent band he's been in was in Hella and Death Grips. But it's kind of sad to see Death Grips go like this because they were really a brilliant band who had something going for them. And they've only been around for like, let's see, from 10, 11, they've been around for 6 years. So I don't think that that's not enough because God knows when they'll come back. They might come back in the next 6 years. I'll already have a job in 6 years. I'll probably been working 6 years from now. You never know. But all I'm trying to say is that Death Grips were a amazing band that has had some albums and some good, not so good criticisms. But their whole thing about not showing up for an entire tour or showing up for a scheduled thing, making people waste their money so they can get the money for themselves and just use it for God knows what, is not being truly honest with your fans. We come to see the artist or the band perform live. We get excited. We give them money. They get rich. Process done. But they just want to like announce a tour. I mean, announce a tour or a show. Make people throw a lot of their hard-earned cash getting all these useless tickets, and when they go to the said show, they don't show up. They don't show up at all. All you hear is a CD, which makes people just go crazy and just start tearing up the place limb from limb. Do you think that all of their fans would want to be treated like this? And they have a dedicated fan base, and they just took advantage of that. Having a dedicated fan base isn't treating your fans like dirt by doing so. If they gave us a specific reason why, then instead of just doing so or just trying to do whatever they want, is not acceptable. And let's just go back to 2012 again, because the whole controversy with them and No Love Deep Web was because of the image and that Epic Records kept screwing around or something. And then they just kept all these disagreements and arguments about when No Love Deep Web was going to drop. And Death Grips took it upon themselves to release the album October 1st, 2012 without their permission, which led to the site getting shut down temporarily, but not for long. Not a year or weeks or days, just a couple of hours. The website was shut down. Nothing was changed. And yeah. And plus that stunt was just crazy because I can understand because Epic Records, it was kind of their fault because they kept announcing it from October 30th, and when No Love Deep Web was coming out and when it was announced, it was a real ARG where people felt that the supposed release date was on October 30th, and ever since that one, it was so many fake Death Grips ARGs going around. It was even a Black Moon ARG, which I didn't know about because I wasn't a 4chan user like I am now. I find this just stupid. Just a dumb thing that Moo did. But anyway, to sum up Death Grips was a band that were kind of lazy when it comes to showing up to performance and like to rip people off of their hard-earned money just so they can take their money for themselves, which is the most selfish thing that anybody should do to a loyal fan base. If they are loyal enough to just go out of their way and just go to your live shows and just watch you go crazy on stage, make music, and we're all getting hyped. Doesn't mean you have to just take advantage of that. You don't have to rip us off like that. People pay good money to go to your shows. We don't have to bust our chops just to go to a show that we know you're not going to attend. You lose fans that way. That's not gaining fans, that's losing fans, despite even listening to the music. And they've had some good albums. They've had a pretty good run, but not a good enough run as you would have expected. Because Zach Hill's band, Hella, has been around since 1999. They've been around for like 15 years. Almost 16 if you count 2015, which would be next year. But anyway, this is the ranking. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Contact me on Facebook and Google Plus for a update video on what I'm going to do, what I'm going to pitch. And make sure you send me a rant recommendation in the comment section below. And like the video, subscribe, share my videos, and keep the fan arts coming for all my glorious 4760 subscribers. So this is the ranking. This is the last video for today. The next more videos that will be coming tomorrow. Now, this is the Rant Kid, and it's time to listen to some Death Grips.